What's up, man? How you doing?
For a second, I was looking at the picture and I went, wow, is Ayron wearing a blonde wig?
No. That'd be pretty sweet. That's a look for you.
Ayron, so good to see you, man. Where you at?
I'm in sunny Los Angeles, California, at the rooftop in Hollywood here at the Thompson Hotel.
Oh,
just
very
hanging
cool.
out, man. Taking the sights. I was at the iHearts last night, and now I'm just hanging out, taking in the sights, man.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, congratulations on your big tour with Shinedown. That was the last time we hung out, and you're just such a nice, genuine individual. We hung out on the couch for a bit and shot the shit. I'm curious, Ayron, what was the biggest eye opener for you on that tour, touring, with the road dogs that are Shinedown? I mean, they're such a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. What's most eye opening, man? The coolest thing I think about Shinedown, for me was there was you tour with the band, and there's not often that you really get to watch them perform, from front to back, and it's always different seeing them from the front of the audience versus when you see them from backstage. And one night I was sitting side stage and I watched these guys perform, or you can really hear them perform, because when you're in the audience, it's like you're hearing the production and everything then on top, but backstage you can hear the raw sounds, and I think for me what was the eye opener was these guys are so well rehearsed, and just their love for each other, man, and what it takes to get to that point, is to be that big, is to have just an enormous amount of love for each other, but your art, man. It's like watching the Blue Angels, coordinate, perform was amazing. Yeah. Man. So that was really eye-opening for me. It really, it taught me how to be a much bigger artist, in terms of being on the stage and what I needed to do to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Ayron, the song "Take Me Away" seemed almost like a different sound for what you do, considering the success of Mercy and Supercharged and the sonic quality of the latest song, Hot Friends, yet they're all on the album Child of the State. Were they all written and produced at the same time?
Different times. Yeah. So Take Me Away is probably the oldest of those songs. That was a song that's been with me for a while. That was kind of one of the first songs that got me to the door with the label. Actually, that was one of the songs we brought to them, and it was already kind of already said and done. And so sonically, what you're hearing there and "Take Me Away" is I think a raw form of myself, and it's a lot more unhinged. I think. I mean, that was really kind of when I thought about the grunge sound, that was what I was trying to put on the record.
Yeah.
And so "Take Me Away" definitely draws from that grunge tone a lot more, whereas Mercy was co-written by me, Scott Stevens, and then Marty Fredrickson.
Okay.
And that captivated a little more of the classic rock sound, And so, just these different points of my career, you're watching these different stages of growth, and I think the latter two songs that you're capturing me in a more current stage. And as of right now, the sound that I have even now is different from the tone that you heard even then. So.
Yeah, tell me about working with Marty Fredrickson. It's interesting that you're the second person I've spoken to in the past week and a half that have mentioned working with Marty. How much influence did he have on bringing out the hooks, or maybe offering suggestive or some feedback, constructive criticism on how to maybe do a little bit of reorganization to bring out the hooks and to bring out the melody in these songs?
Marty is I call him the Dr. Dre of rock and roll, man. He's the guy you call to fix the record, man. So Marty was highly influential, man. Especially with Mercy. I mean, we got in the room. That song was literally written in hours, 2 days of work, maybe 3 hours each, 4 hours each.
Yeah. And
it was done. It was solid and finished. And we had some more tweaks and stuff, but Marty has such an eclectic array of experience from front to back. He's worked with everybody from Dr. Dre to Aerosmith to, you name it, man, in country and rock and hip hop and all that. So for him, it's he's this encyclopedia of knowledge that, whatever you're trying to go for, he knows that, which was great. And then Scott Stevens is a juggernaut in rock and roll, written, many number one hits, top 10 Billboard hits in hard rock and in mainstream rock and roll, man. So having those two in the room, and then myself, bringing my experience as well to the table, it created this kind of, a conglomerate that really doesn't, I couldn't really put words to, what I'm saying? We're talking so many different genres that are kind of coming together to create this new sound that we have going on. And I think that's what Mercy was a preview of.
Do you think it's true that that the best songs that a musician tends to come up with almost write themselves? They come out really, really quick. It's the songs that offer the most tension, where you almost seem to be fighting with the song, that don't really kind of hit the mark.
Absolutely, man. I think with a lot of the songs in Child of the State were written in 1 and 2 days. It's
Yeah,
like that's the thing about being a professional songwriter. Is you got to be really willing to let go of your inhibitions, to let go of the thought of the idea that the song needs to be something, and
yeah.
allow it to be what it wants to be. And when you get in a room with people that understand that philosophy and that belief, magical things can happen. So I mean, a lot of that was just the ability to write quick and get it out and just express yourself in the raw form.
Yeah, I find that quite a bit being a musician myself, when it comes to songwriting, and I do a lot of songwriting with our singer, and, let the song go where the song wants to go. Don't challenge where the song wants to go. The song will almost write itself if you can just let it flow how you initially hear it, right? How in the
It'll tell you
heck
what it
did,
means.
yeah, how in the heck did you get on the radar of hip hop royalty Sir Mix-a-Lot way back in the day? I think that's a crazy story, man.
Yeah, so that was kind of random, man. We were grinding, man. We had been grinding at the time. I'm an indie artist. I hadn't even like recorded a record or anything at that point. I was just playing bars in Seattle and like little cafes and coffee shops. And one day while we were playing one of these grind gigs, man, he showed up and I was playing in front of. It was like an afternoon gig. I was playing for like 10 people, and he walks through the door with a friend of mine, and he loved what he heard, he loved what he saw, and just decided to produce my first record, man, and really taught me a lot about what it meant to actually be a recording artist. And that was the first experience I had of that.
Very, very cool. As musicians, kids often emulate their favorite artist or artists at the time when they first learn about their craft. Who did you want to be or sound like when you were first learning how to be a guitar player, and deciding that, hey, I'm going to be a professional musician when I grow up?
I was listening to like Prince and like Stevie Ray Vaughan, man. Like those are the two
Okay.
cats that really stuck out to me. Stevie Ray Vaughan was so impressive to me because I just the way he commanded the stage at the time, back in the day, we couldn't afford cable, so we had like just public TV and the regular television air TV channels. And I'm watching Austin City Limits one night, and the Stevie Ray Vaughan special comes on, and it just blew my mind how he could command a crowd. So that's why if you look at the back of my career, I got my foot through the door by playing blues and opening for a lot of blues acts, B.B. King and Robin Trower, Jeff Beck, and such. And then I just craved more after that, So I really started following into the footsteps of Jimi Hendrix and Prince, because I wanted to expand on the crowds I was playing in front of. As good as blues is, it's a really niche crowd, that you end up playing in front of. So I really started, getting my feet wet in the rock and roll, and that's when I started getting in contact with some of the grunge guys who really helped bring that sound out.
Wow, very cool. Were you lucky enough to see Prince when he was alive and out playing shows?
I wasn't, man. I mean, that was one of the most heartbreaking things about when Prince died, was that
Yeah.
I knew I would never get to see him play, man, and that was like a lifelong dream. I was get to see Prince.
Oh my God, get this story. I grew up in South Texas, graduated high school in 1989. Just 45 minutes down the road from Austin, Stevie Ray Vaughan's hometown, and I was up there for a South by Southwest. I never got to see Stevie Ray, but at a South by Southwest convention, I was tipped off that Prince might be performing that night. I snuck into a venue, and he had his 50-person security entourage clear the venue out. Somehow, some way, I managed to sneak in. And I didn't make any eye contact with anybody, had my cell phone out, sat on the stairs right next to the stage while they were stocking the bar with beer. Prince comes out, and I got to check out his entire sound check. And
Amazing.
the way that this guy mastered his musicians, he would jump off the stage and run out to the soundboard middle of the song and say, okay, third horn from the left, or baritone sax or whatever. Hey, you're a split second off here. You need to jump in here. The guy was incredible. Really, really.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's that brilliant, that genius, that we talk about. We rarely see it in artists, man. So like that was a disappointment for me when he died, because I would never get to see him play.
I was very, very lucky. I didn't get to see the actual show because security came back in after sound check, and then I was spotted and I quickly ran. I was worried about being killed or lynched. Let's switch subjects really quick. I'm thinking back to that blurry Saturday night, and I want to talk about Big Sexy, who I was afraid wasn't going to be able to make the bus call after randomly ending up at our neighborhood bar and then on my couch for a while that night here in Reno, Nevada. He eventually made it, didn't he?
Yeah, he made it, man. Yeah, he made
Okay.
it.
So Barrett Martin, legendary drummer for the Screaming Trees, was on drums for the album. Big Sexy's out on the road with you. He's a killer drummer, man. Is he now a full-fledged member of the band? Are you thinking about when it comes time to write a new record, will he be doing the record with you, or is that still yet to be decided?
You know, that stuff that's kind of still in the air. And these guys are still really new to the project.
Sure.
And I love them on the road. I've yet to see what they can do in the studio, you know, and so those things are still kind of getting figured out. I love his energy, and you know, he came into this not really knowing rock and roll. So a lot of what he's learned so far has been on the fly, and learning teaching him how to be almost pull back, you know, because he's such a talented dude. He has so many different things he can play. And I literally, the way I described to him on how to play rock, I was like, all that stuff you do half of that, you know, and you got it, you know, because he's so talented, you know. So, you know, it's my hope, my dream that at some point I can get some of these guys on the record. But as of right now, you know, it's still kind of in the air.
Okay, I hear that. This summer takes you to Europe, up north to Canada. Any places on your personal wish list that you haven't gone to yet that you'd like to try and visit?
Toronto is a big one. I've yet to be to hang out in Toronto. Or see Toronto, and it's really all of Canada, man. You know, I grew up in Seattle, and so Canadians are very familiar to us. You know, with just having Vancouver right across the border there. I spent some time in Winnipeg, and you know, I really do love Canada. I'm just really happy just to be back in Canada and see my fans out there. You know.
Okay, very, very cool. Do you get more joy out of creating new stuff in the studio or playing live, or is that tough to answer?
It's hard to answer, I think, for me, man. The two different processes, and I enjoy both of them differently. You know, like playing live is kind of a different mindset. Although, you know, working in the studio does translate. I always feel like I'm a better artist live when I've come out of the studio because I have to listen to myself more. You know, so they do kind of translate to each other. But I would say that I enjoy both processes very differently. You know, it's like painting versus going, you know, showing your stuff, man, going to an art gallery. You know,
yeah, for sure. So anybody who's checking out this video interview right now, who is a fan of the music and have not seen you, Ayron, and the band play live, it just really takes it to another level. You guys are one of the best live bands I think I've seen in about a decade, man. So congratulations on that. You really captured some energy out there. For whatever reason, I like to talk about food in interviews. Some of the fans of the channel here get annoyed with my talking about food, probably because I'm a self-proclaimed foodie. But I'm curious about you. Is there a food that everybody seems to love, but you just can't stand?
A food that everybody loves, but I can't stand. Oh, that's a good question. I've not thought about this before. Let me think about that for a second. A food that everybody loves, but I can't stand. I don't think there is one, man. I think I'm pretty, you know, like I'm that guy that's just like the bandwagon. I'm like, oh, that's great. Sounds good to me. You know?
Okay.
I hate pumpernickel, though. I can tell you that.
Pumpernickel?
I hate pumpernickel. I know that's random, but people like, you know, something like pumpernickel bread.
Okay, so you've never had a sausage sandwich with dill pickles on pumpernickel bread. I might be able to change your mind on that. The next time you're in town, I'll have my wife make one up, and you can taste it and forget about it. Okay, conversely, something that most people hate, but you actually love from a food perspective.
So something most people hate, but I actually love from a food perspective. Oh, anchovies.
Anchovies, right here, brother. Yes. Love the anchovies.
Bro.
Love to have them on pizza. I love to have a whole anchovy if I'm having a Caesar salad. Mix that up in there. Good on you. Good on you.
I like anchovies, man. I know that's a weird one. A lot of people don't like anchovies, but I love anchovies.
Very cool. Well, Ayron, it looks like you're having a much better day than I am. I'm stuck inside. You enjoy some of that sunlight out there in Los Angeles and the warm weather. And hope to catch you out on the road here very, very soon. Thank you so much for the time today, dude.
It's good to see you, buddy, man. Yeah, well, hopefully we can catch up here.
Absolutely. Good to see you too. Be safe out on the road. We'll see you soon.
All right. Take care, buddy.
Ciao.
All right.